Diecast North is a channel devoted to the teen to adult toy collector, pop culture fans, and fellow nerd enthusiasts. This is a PG-13 channel. I might say some shit. Viewer and parental discretion is advised. Welcome to another episode of Diecast North's Galactic Hooligan, and I am super excited that you're actually all here, hooligans, hooliganettes, everyone in between, the aliens, the AI. Welcome to all of you. I appreciate every single one of you for joining me once again today on my trip through nerdom, and today, the legacy begins. You know, because I've finally gotten a chance to get my hands on a few legacy figures, at least two for now, and I'm actually looking around for Kickback and Dragstrip right at this moment. I have Dragstrip pre-ordered on Amazon for whatever reason. I like broken boxes probably, and also I've gotten legacy Skids, who today I'm actually going to be talking about and everything like that, complete in his trashed box and everything, you know? So I just wanted to let you show the super collectability of this guy, you know? But so far, I'm actually liking the actual robot itself, you know? So we are going to take a trip through Nerd Town. Welcome. If you are coming back once again, my honorable hooligans, thank you for joining me once again. If this is the first time that you're joining me, thank you for joining me. Also, I would really appreciate it if you actually hit the like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I am actually almost at 500. After that, I want to make it to 1,000 or maybe 100 million viewers or something. I don't think that can actually be done overnight, but I appreciate all of your help. It's a small click for you, but a giant leap for me as I'm actually trying to grow my viewership. Now, let's start the review. My dear hooligans and hooliganettes, and also my galactic and mechanical overlord lieges, I swear allegiance and friendship. But this is actually one of those reviews where I was trying to figure out exactly how to bring a figure out before while I'm actually reviewing and everything, because this one, should I actually do robot mode or vehicle mode? And this is one of those things where I kind of think that bringing them out in vehicle mode was actually a little bit more important before I actually make them explode into their robot modes. So here we have Skids, and he is one of those guys that I've actually been waiting for the longest time. Ever since I was a kid, I always thought that Skids looked like he was actually just one of the most interesting bots ever, even though he actually kind of had that thing where he only had arms that were actually just kind of static and only moved up and down like this and everything. No points of articulation. He was a brick. But that being said, this guy is actually really, really cool. Let's just check out a little bit of box art. I am loving where they were actually going with this all together. And he's really, like the comedies. So there was a movie that actually said that they're boxy, but they're nice. That's how I feel about Skids. That's exactly the same way I felt about Bulkhead. And we actually have a lot of great product shots in the back and everything. And let's see, we also have this tech spec thing right over here and everything. If you want to get the code and everything like that, you can right now. But that's it right here. We actually have everything going over here. I really want to know what's going on with this Prime altogether and everything like that. It doesn't look like Laser Prime. It looks like our good old buddy Red Optimus Prime, and I'm dying to know if we're actually going to be getting anything new or anything like that, because it seems like from what we actually had with Rodimus Prime, and I'm only venturing to guess over here. We may be getting something interesting, you know what I mean? So like, I would really love to see a Commander Class Prime or something, you know? But we actually have Blaster, Bulkhead, RC is actually there, and you know, like Hot Rod for some reason, the Legion version. Anyway, and I'm going to talk a little bit about this purple booklet over here. That's really nice. I really like the purple on this and everything. It goes along with the whole entire Legacy line up here and everything. And going through the instructions all together over here, and once again, and now you all know how to fly helicopters. So there we go. And let's take a look at Skids himself. Skids is a very cool compact car here. I really love everything about this. Yeah, mine doesn't really line up as well or anything like that. I really wish he did. But he's actually very, very cool. I'm actually just such a big freaking fan of sport compact cars. And this guy is just great. He is really boxy, but super, super nice. And I really love this so much. I kind of think that this control panel right over here, whatever this is actually supposed to be, that's actually very cool. I like all of this so much. Like, I was actually really going to wait until I actually got like Masterpiece Skids to actually do this, but I'm definitely going to do a comparison between both of these and everything because from what I actually know, Masterpiece Skids will actually still be able to, be as small as this guy and everything, so I really can't wait to see that. But let me just give you a couple comparisons right over here. So off, let me give you Bulkhead right over here, one of his wave mates, and that's actually very cool. From the deluxe version of the toy, from deluxe to Voyager, and that's actually really nice sizing right over there. I kind of wish, in this case, Bulkhead should be a little bit bigger, but you know, it's a little, what are you gonna do though? Like, this is like toy magic here and everything. So that's actually really cool for what it is. And here we go, drifting into the scene. It's Blue Streak. And I really like the way these guys actually look together. They kind of like still have the same kind of like electronic thing going on in the front and everything. So I guess if you're a robot car, that's what you're at. That's where your sensors are actually going to lie and everything. But very, very cool. I love the way both of these actually fit together. This one will actually be like the 240 Fairlady Z. This actually kind of like now reminds me of kind of like more of a Scion XB more than anything else, you know? Kind of like the same thing that they actually had going on in alternators and that sort of thing. So that's actually really cool also. I like this so much. For weaponry, we have all of this right here. And it's actually very cool. I like the weapons that he actually came with here. Now, these are actually great for robot mode, but what you can actually do with auto mode is that you can actually kind of like put these weapons right on the sides over here and over here, and that's actually really cool. For this one right over here, you can actually kind of like put his axe like right on the top over here, so he actually has more forward firing action, or you can actually put this right on the back so you can actually give this guy a little bit more speed. And my gods, everyone, guys, girls, everyone in between, yes, he is Blast Effects compatible. Look at this right here. I freaking love that so much. And the weapons are actually Blast Effects compatible too, in which case you can actually just have so much fun just armoring this guy up and everything, you know? And now he looks like he is actually on his way to kick some ass, and that's actually really, really nice. I love this a lot. And dare I say it, Hasbro, Takada-san, please make these Blast Effects a thing. Like, boxes or bags of Blast Effects and everything. You are missing out on a gold mine over here. And I really think all of us would actually appreciate having all of these in our collection and everything. You know, I for one would actually go out and I'd actually be like, take my money please sir. You know, like, these are just like awesome. They actually give awesome play value and everything. And I just really love the way they display with your figures and everything. They are phenomenal. Anyway, now that I've actually finished off like gushing about Blast Effects, let's get this guy transformed. Transforming Skids from his super fun mini compact car mode into his robot mode is actually really simple. And just let's remove these. First off though, I want to make sure that when you're actually going into taking these weapons off, make sure you're really careful. The small stems on here, I've actually heard of like one story where somebody actually lost the stem into one of the arms of Skids and everything. Please don't do that. Just be really ginger with these things, because you know, even with clear plastic and some of the things that we're actually getting right now and everything, they can be highly breakable and everything. So just keep that in mind. And let's transform Skids. So first off, let's actually open the doors. And there is a lot of robot that is actually right underneath this guy. So let's just lift this guy up right over here. He actually lifts up right by his knees over here. Let's just tuck these right underneath the car and everything, and then we can actually separate. Oh wait, let's lift this from here. There are a couple of pegs that are actually going right in here and in here that are actually just like tabbing right into the legs of the robot. Also, when you're actually removing this, just make sure there are a couple of tabs that are actually right on the inside of the arm that will slot right into this right over here on the sides of his ribs. So just be careful. That actually makes a really nice connection, and I really like the way they did that. Let's open up the arms right over here and right over here. There we go. And let's move this down, and then we'll actually start teetering his whole entire hip section is actually just going to go right down on this hinge. So let's do that, and then we'll fix his legs up a bit. We'll separate and put these pieces right in over here, and that's really nice. I like the way these legs actually look, but we'll go into that, more of that in a moment. Then we'll just lift these tabs right over here and over here off of the front hood, and we'll bring all of this down and snap it in. Then all we want to do is just fix the arms a little bit, and there we go, and we'll fix the arms a little bit more over here. There we go. And now we actually have Skids in his amazingly cool robot mode, and we will talk some more about this guy right now. First off, let's look at this head here. Now, this is actually the chagrin of a lot of collectors and everything. And one thing that I really haven't had like a whole lot of issues with is the head. And but then I actually also understand why there's actually such an issue, and it's because this part of the hood is actually just still locked right on here. And we've actually seen a lot in a way of like what we actually have as far as like the designing powers that be now and everything. And it really doesn't, I really don't get why they couldn't like figure out another way to like actually remove this so we could have the whole entire head being like just like molded round and everything, because that is actually just a beautiful head sculpt. You actually have to admit this. Let's get right in there on his face, and there we go. His face is actually very cool. I like it. I like the sternness of it and everything. I like the way the eyes actually just like pop with all the paint and everything. I love it when a good pair of eyes are actually painted. It's really nice. I love that as much as I love light piping. Like everything on this, I like the smooth lines that are the smooth but cut lines that are actually going over here and everything. Just very cool. I love everything that's actually going into his detailing here. Like his arms, just really beautifully designed all around. And I know a lot of people are actually going to be complaining about this. I too am actually complaining, and I'm actually just like waiting to see exactly what actually happens when we actually get like fillers for the legs and everything, mostly coming from third parties and everything like that, you know. And it's a shame that like Hasbro and Takara didn't like figure or couldn't like think of just like adding those two pieces in, because I didn't really think it would have actually been like that more expensive as far as plastic count actually concerns. But he's actually very cool. I really like him a lot. Just let me pan out a little bit. And there we are, and you can actually see him in all his glory. One thing that I actually kind of still dislike is the use of all the clear plastic. I always feel as though all this clear painted plastic will actually give way eventually and everything, and like it's always prone to breaks and cracks and that sort of thing. And I don't understand why they actually went ahead and did it that way. Like these figures are actually starting to become a little bit more expensive now and everything, and because of that, I kind of feel as though like the little extra effort to actually make these bots as amazing as possible would have actually been like something that should have actually been done here. Like as far as any figure that was actually concerned and everything like that, I think Skids would have actually deserved having that treatment. We actually got that treatment in Huffer, done brilliantly. So like whenever we actually have something like this, it just kind of makes me say, what's going on here? You know what I mean? Like it's Hasbro actually just cheapening things out just because. But like aside from that, the only other issue that I actually have on my copy is this piece right over here. I think this was like a little bit of a burn or something that was actually coming up from factory or something. That's pretty much it. But I really don't have an issue with this. A lot of people actually had an issue with the way he actually bent his knee over here. Not really of as much an issue for me because I like the way it actually works and I like the way his legs actually conform here. That's actually really nice, but let's take you into some points of articulation. He actually does have a 360 right on his head. He actually has a slight up, a slight down. He can actually, this is actually all on a ball joint. It's not as accessible or anything like that, but it is there. He actually has a hinge right over here. He actually has another hinge right over here. So as far as moving his arms that way and everything, you actually have like little or no issues, right? So whatsoever. He actually has like, you can actually bring his arms all the way out and all the way back, kind of inhibited by his wings over here. He actually has wings, so you can actually like kind of like bring back and forth like that on the door. He actually has upper bicep and tricep movement right over here, rotation, that's nice. He actually has 90 degrees right over here by his elbow, that's nice. He actually has waist rotation, that's always a good plus. And because of how he actually transforms, he also has this back motion right over here. So that's actually really nice. And if you actually needed to use that for something or the other, dealing with like some kind of dynamic move that you actually want to make for him, that's actually great. I love that. Mine actually came loose out of the box, but I actually fixed it with some kikis, and he actually does have kind of a kung fu action right over here. Not necessarily full kung fu because of the way he's actually sculpted right over here, but it's actually fine nonetheless. He actually has thigh rotation right over here. He can kick all the way further, like all the way up front like this. So he's actually got like that in your face kind of kick right there, and that's actually really nice. He does go all the way back, but it's kind of inhibited by his upper hood here. Let's see, what else? Oh, leg bend, I talked about that already. That's actually really nice. He actually has the combiner. He actually has the War for Cybertron tilt, so that's actually really nice. Nor dorsiflexion. Just a really nice bot all around though. I really like him. As far as weaponry actually goes, he does actually retain like all the weapons he actually had in G1 and everything. We actually have this little blaster right over here. You can either put it in his hands or you can put it right up here on his forearms where they actually went previously when he was actually in G1. So that's actually really cool. They did like a lot of really nifty like things with the bot and everything. So that's actually really cool. You can actually put it over here if you wanted to. Remember, just snug it a little bit. I usually kind of like wind up going all the way down into the arm and everything like that. That just might be me and everything. But for all of you and everything like that, you might not want to do that and everything all together and everything, because, or like do it as much as you're actually comfortable. Now he actually still has this whole entire thing. So you can actually blast effects him to crazy depths right over here. So that's actually really, really nice. And just let me do this right over here. I love that so much. That's actually very, very cool. Anybody who actually does that, or any bot that actually does this, is actually amazing in my opinion. But also, along with the mighty weapons you see before you, he actually comes with this energon axe here. It's actually very cool. It's actually like kind of like a melee slash blaster weapon and everything, which is actually very, very cool. I really do wish that they actually kind of like colored this, but like I kind of don't mind this being an energon format or and everything, you know, because it's actually very cool. Lots of like really cool playability and everything. So you can actually do this whole thing, and you actually have an extra blaster, and of course it's still blast effects compatible, so that's actually very, very cool. So I really like that a lot. Also, you can actually use it as a melee weapon and everything, so that actually becomes an axe. And I kind of wish it actually kind of like had an adapter or something, so you can actually kind of like adapt it right over here. The way it actually hangs right over here on his hand, I'm really not a big fan of like how you actually put this in, because it's clear plastic. And again, clear plastic usually does have a tendency to break after a while or something. I haven't really noticed anything on my version or anything like that, but it's actually a cool weapon. He can actually slice and dice and everything. He can actually make Cobb salad. You know what I mean? So like, it's actually cool. I like it a lot. You know, I like the design of this. This is actually very cool. Kind of makes me feel like it's more ice ridden than like energon ridden. But it's very cool, and it matches along pretty well with him. Also, with all three of these weapons, you can actually say, I need Autobot power now! And once you call upon the mighty Autobot power, you can actually combine these weapons into one really massive, hold on, there we go. You can actually combine this like this, which also makes a really good weapon. But once you actually get this piece into it, there we go. And now you have a mighty blaster here, which is actually really cool, still fits snugly into his hands altogether and everything. And the fact that you actually have this, now since you actually have these double blasters right down here, yeah, it kind of looks like it actually fits a little bit better into his arms over here, into his hands. And since you actually have that, you also have the ability to strike down mighty foes with a wicked hand, and that's actually really, really nice. I love that so much. Like, it just gives him so much dimensionability to Skids over here, and I love that. This is actually just so great. I'm going to give you some comparisons here, and you're going to have that with Skids and Blue Streak. And I really love the way these guys actually look. Their wings, oh, this is so perfect. I love this. Also, Skids and his wave mate, Bulkhead, and look at these guys. Again, they're boxy, but they're nice, and I really love the way they look together. I really, really am looking forward to seeing if we're actually going to get more of a boxy crew and everything, because that would actually be pretty awesome. I would love to see exactly how Cosmos is actually going to look with these guys and everything once they're actually all together, because boxes and cylinders, they're always going to be great with each other, right? We learned that in preschool. But like, let me tell you something, these guys just look phenomenal together. And if we want to bring in Blue Streak, no matter what you actually do and everything, as far as like adding like old school and new school characters and everything like that into this, they all fit together so well, and I love that about this line. Throughout it all, I really, really love this. Everything about these lines are actually great, and I love, thank you for this, Takara and Hasbro, but I love the fact that you're actually making this fit in with the old War for Cybertron line and everything, so that's actually super appreciated. I love that so much. Right now, I'm just gonna have some more fun with Skids, and then I'm gonna give you some final thoughts. No matter what you say about Skids, you just leave my son alone. The Skids is just really, really cool. I really love this guy so much. I think he actually is really one of my favorites, and it might be just me just being a fan of Skids altogether and everything, but he's actually great. Plastic is actually kind of like in the mid-range of being robust and not and everything, and at the same time, He's actually pretty strong for what he actually is and everything. I find that he's actually very durable. He's actually really just good looking. He's a good looking old school bot, and I really love this. And I gotta like sometimes miss like some of these like more squared off proportions and everything. We actually had that in Bulkhead, and you know how much I love Bulkhead and everything, but Skids really just became one of these figures that actually just like wowed me as soon as I actually got him outside the box. I was really ready to down him for everything, but it looks like he actually made a believer out of me, and I'm happy about that. That being said, he might not be your cup of tea, but he's definitely my cup of coffee. And I think that he's actually a wonderful bot. Like, his weapons, just pretty awesome. You know, like, again, Energon weapons, like, I'm neither here nor there with it or anything like that, but I liked it in Bulkhead so far. I think Skids are actually really awesome too, and I'm actually really surprised to hear myself say that, and I love the fact that they're actually blast compatible. I really, the blast effects are just great. Hasbro, seriously, what are you doing? You're sitting on a gold mine there. What are you doing? That is it for me today. I really appreciate you all for joining me once again for my trip through nerddom. I really appreciate you all for joining. And again, treat yourselves and each other with kindness, because that is the most amazing thing. Make sure that kindness goes through the world, around it 4 times and back over to you again and everything, because you deserve it. Also remember, when these stop being magical, that's when I stop collecting. I'll definitely talk to all of you soon.